All right. Well, hello in person.
Hello.
I feel like I know you.
I know. I love it. I love meeting new people, especially when I get to talk about Girl Scouts.
So, welcome to Highest Awards Chit Chat. So this is with Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Badgerland Council. We do this twice a month, and the Highest Awards Committee hosts it. Currently, that's me. We're trying to expand our committee, so we might get some other faces in here. And it's just an opportunity for people to ask whatever questions they might have about the highest awards. And we do it twice a month. We do it the first Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. and then the third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Central Time. So what questions, why did you join us and what questions do you have?
So I don't really have many questions, but I'm on the highest award committee for my council, which is Girl Scouts of Silver Stage. And I was just trying to see what other councils were doing, what kind of awards projects that you guys, other councils are doing. We have a good gold award committee, but getting girls to do higher awards sometimes is kind of, oh, we don't want to do that. And so I just wanted to hop on somebody else's and see what other people were doing and see what kind of chit chat was going on in other councils.
Yep. So this, just as some background, this chit chat has kind of evolved. When we did it in, I don't even know where we are. We're in 2022 right now. So when we did it in 2019 to 2020, we set it up, and the first 15 minutes we had a speaker, and then the last 45 minutes was reserved for questions for the speaker or just general open forum. It worked really well. We never had huge numbers, but we had some good turnout. Honestly, the reason that last fall we weren't doing speakers anymore is because it was too much for me to schedule. So I just created an open forum. I jump on here. I've tried doing live stream a couple of times, especially when I haven't had anybody register for it ahead of time. And what I'm actually getting ready to work on in the next couple of weeks is, so Girl Scout Badgerland Council has recently closed Gold Award for recognition at our ceremony this spring, because we do our ceremony in early April. And so we have our final list of the 2022 class for Badgerland Council. And so what I'm going to be doing is reaching out to those girls and having them come on and chit chat.
Nice.
A little bit more laid back than I think you know that I do a podcast, right? Yep. So a little bit more laid back than the podcast. Bring that down, make them feel a little bit more comfortable, because a lot of our girls that I have talked to, I haven't talked to all of them, but the ones that I've talked to, a lot of times they're just not interested in that level of interview. So, a much more informal thing is what I'm planning on doing for the rest of the spring. And then we'll see where it goes next year.
Okay.
But from a committee perspective, over the last 2 years, we've been doing a lot of work. And over the last year, we've really done a lot of work. So for our council, I'll share what our council does, and then you can share what your council does. For our council, the committee at this point is really driving all of the highest awards work. Obviously, we have a council liaison person, but we have minimized that role and those responsibilities at council as much as possible. So basically only when we need to use, and you may know some of these words, but because other people might listen to this, I'm going to expand a little bit. So the system that most Girl Scout councils use for tracking their members and communicating with the members, with the way that they send out emails and everything, is called Salesforce. And so except for when a communication has to go out via Salesforce or hard copy in the mail, our committee is doing all of that. And when one of those things has to happen, either something going out in Salesforce or in the mail, we have a person and we email them and they do that. Not to say for the recognition ceremony that we're having this spring, our Marcom, our marketing and communications team at council, is doing all of that planning. The committee is still doing some of the supporting roles. So the committee is still responsible for doing all of the emails to get the certifications. We're working on, I was supposed to do this last weekend and I didn't do it, but we're working on connecting with all of the communities that the girls are in to see if their mayor or mayor equivalent will do a recognition day for the girls. And that's committee work. Marcom is doing the ceremony itself. And we've done a lot of work. We have a long way to go. But I'm very, very excited because we actually have 20 girls this year. And the most
Is
we've
that for all
had
3 of them? Or
no,
just gold?
for gold.
Okay.
For gold. Highest awards committee hasn't taken on silver or bronze yet. We've been revamping all of our gold stuff. And so next year, we're probably going to start taking on the silver pieces. We have to do some recruitment and get some more people on the committee. And we've had some technology issues. And so the system that we're using, we can only have a maximum of 15 committee members, and we need more than that, even with what we're doing with gold. And so we're trying to transition communication systems that we're using within the committee. And that's just been a little bit slower process than we thought. As soon as we can get that where we can have more people, we have the committee has a list of people that either have already agreed to join the committee or that we've planned on reaching out to. So we will expand. And then once we get those members up and running, then we're going to work on taking on silver and then eventually bronze probably. Of course, that's down the road, and we have to work with council because council, there's other pieces that go into it. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we are. But yes, so 20 girls, and the most we've ever had before is 14. So for us, 20 is a lot. It's very, very exciting.
14 is a lot for us. I think the most we've ever had since I've been on our Gold Award committee is 5. I think it's closer to 3 is what we get every year. This year, we have a lot of girls in the gold in the queue. Like they're working on it. They've started their stuff. And those are just the ones that are graduating this year. So if they all finish, that'll be the most that we've had. And that's, I believe, 10. And so that'll be the most that we've had. We are actually, so I'm on the Gold Award committee, and we're starting doing a girl recognition. In the past, we've done what's called Scouting Stars within our council, and you could nominate one of the girls to get the Scouting Stars, but it was completely separate from the Gold Award. And so our Gold Award girls would get recognized at that event and then at the Scouting Stars event. But we're revamping that. I decided that, our council's kind of split in 2. So we have like Eastern Idaho and Western Idaho. And we're like 3.5 hours apart, like away in Eastern Idaho from our council office. So we try to do events that mirror each other. I, over the summer, decided, I was like, we're going to revamp our girl recognition. And we are starting in this year. We're going to have a award ceremony that recognizes our bronze, silver, and gold award for Eastern Idaho. And then Western Idaho, they call it Treasure Valley. They're going to do a separate one over there as well. My committee is out on whether they want to do like a dinner or no dinner, and charging or not charging. I have the date. I have the girls' names. We have all of the information. It's just we have to nail down a few things, but we're going to start doing a higher awards, all 3 of them, recognition for all of them. We've got the newspaper and the news channel that's going to come. We're inviting high school administrators for our gold girls, as well as the mayors to come down if they want to come to the award ceremony as well. We're gonna make a huge deal out of it because I want to really recognize these older girls. I am a Gold Award Scout. I'm a lifetime member, so I've been in since I was a kindergartner, we're just not going to say when that was. But even when I was a girl, girls, like, people are like, you're too old to be a Girl Scout. I have 3 daughters of my own that are in Scouts, and they're now all in the khaki vest phase. I have one in each level, actually, and they get doors slammed in their face. They get asked, where's the Girl Scout? Or you're not a Girl Scout. So I really want to bring recognition to the girls, what I call the khaki vest girls, because as soon as you're out of that cute brownie junior daisy phase, people are like, what's going on? And then they don't want to do it anymore. Like, the girls get tired of just having doors slammed in their face or being told they're too old. And so I want to make it a thing. Like, this is a thing. So that is my whole goal with like higher award recognition. People like, look, it's a vest. It's a khaki vest. I promise they're not scamming you.
Yeah, I agree. I actually, as you know from watching me on social, I'm a huge advocate for the older girl part of the program. I actually think that that's when Girl Scouts really gets fun. Like, depending on what the girl is interested in, like, they can be leaders at camp, they get to start traveling, they get to they get to take ownership of their Girl Scout experience so much more. And I think that that's when it really gets fun.
Yes. We've started a Trailblazers troop in our council. I started it during the pandemic, which was quite interesting, but we got it going, and it's a lot of fun. And it's all older girls, because that's what it's geared towards. It's all older girls. And I tell everyone about it. People are like, you're still a Girl Scout? I was like, I'm still a Girl Scout. I talk about Girl Scouts. I love Girl Scouts. I'm taking outdoor classes, which turned into I'm getting another degree in outdoor ed, because I'm like, I'm doing this anyway. Like, why not get another degree in it? But it's a lot of fun. And I love seeing, these are the girls that want to be there. The younger girls, it's, oh, that sounds fun. We get to play, do crafts. We can go do outside things. But as you get older, it's not cool anymore. So those girls that stay, those are the ones that want to be there. And they work hard, and then they don't get any kind of recognition. I was like, nope, I want to change that.
Yep. And that's, I have a passion for that, because that's why I, started the podcast, because these girls are not getting the recognition that they deserve and they've earned. So, I want to shout from the rooftops and tell everybody how amazing these young women are, because they really are.
Yes. The idea behind the recognition ceremony that I'm doing is I want to have the cadets and the juniors see this is what you can do. So we're going to even recognize our graduating seniors. Anyone who's going to graduate this year, we're going to give them the Girl Scout graduation cords. So you're going to be a Girl Scout all the way through your senior year. You're going to be recognized. A lot of them don't know what's happening, but I have plans for, they're going to get a stole if they've gotten their gold award. They're going to get graduation cords if they're graduating senior year this year. And I'm doing yard signs. If you're both, you get 2. I'm going to be like shouting it everywhere. I want to recognize these girls, and I want to show the younger girls, look, this is what you can do. And I think it's even better that GSUSA just started that scholarship, that everybody within the council, if you get your gold award, you're eligible for that. And so I want to be like, this is what you can go for. This is something that if you get your gold award, you can get this. It's a free $1,000. I mean, that's good for anywhere.
And when you were saying that you're planning the ceremony, you were trying to figure out, whether to make it free or minimal cost or a dinner with a cost. That's exactly what I was going to say is we're pivoting because of the pandemic and because we just changed leadership centers and the area we're in. We usually hold it in school auditoriums, and none of the schools will let us in. So we're pivoting this year still. But prior to the pandemic, our event included our top cookie sellers. So we went all the way down to daisies with that, right? So top cookie sellers, and then bronze, silver, and gold recognition plus recognizing our graduating seniors. So, and it was a free event, or very minimal cost. I think it was free. It must have been free. And like you just said, I think that those are the best events, because part of the way to keep the girls in is to have them looking up to these older girls and saying, oh, this is what I can do. Oh, maybe I want to work towards this or work towards that.
Yep. We have a plan set out of, we're gonna do the bronze, and then we're gonna do the silver groups, and then silver individuals, and then go to gold. And then all of our graduating seniors are gonna come up as we call their names. And then if we have any life-saving awards, we have one girl who we've put an application in for a life-saving award. So she would be recognized there if they say that she can have it. But I think the biggest thing right now is the idea was to have a dinner and make it all nice and classy, but that seems to not be what people want. And so we're going to go with, maybe this year it's just going to be free, because then, and I had this grand idea of dinner, classy, everyone sits at tables, but most of the people are like, you know what, we just want to be able to invite our troop. And if we have to pay, we can't invite our troops. And so I'm like, now we're in the middle of pivoting and making that final decision of, do we do just a ceremony? I work at a university, so we have a sponsor actually through our college. The College of Business on our university is like, yes, they're doing older girl workshops for us, where they're going to host badge workshops. They're sponsoring this event for us, and they're like, just put a little thing at the bottom, or just say our names. Like the dean is so passionate about Girl Scouts that they got him on our board of directors within a very short amount of time of him being there. And he's very much into building Girl Scouts. And he's just like, no, let's partner, let's do this. And he's like, whatever you want to do. And so they're helping us. We have a ballroom. And so we're going to use the ballroom, and we're going to have the ceremony there. And I was like, you know what, if we just do it where it's free, and maybe you can cover cost of like appetizers, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with this. Like, let's make this something the girls want to do. So I had hopped on here because I've seen it, and I tried to register a couple of months ago, but those back end things with Salesforce where it's like, you can't register because you're a lifetime member. And I'm like, I can't even re-register myself right now.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I was trying, and I was like, you know what, I'll hop on another time after we figure this out. They figured it out because I didn't have to ask anybody. It's really funny because I know the person who does data for us. And so I'll text her and be like, can you change my status real fast so I can go register for this event? And I'll tell you when I'm done, and you can change me back. And she's just like, go ahead, let me know. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. She goes, okay, I'm changing you back.
Yep.
It's all those fun technology little things.
Yep.
And so I was excited. I was like, yes, they fixed it, because I don't have to tell her to go, hey, let me do this.
Yeah.
But I like listening and finding out what other people are doing. My troop personally, we've done 2 bronze awards. We've done a silver award. We have 4 girls that are planning on doing their silver award this summer. And then I've got 2, possibly 3, who all want to do their gold award at the same time this summer. And I was like, that's going to be fun. Okay, we'll see how this goes.
Yep.
Because 2 of those girls are personally mine. And I'm like, you know what? All I have to do is sit back and watch, because I can't help you. I'm like, all I can do is sit there and be like, you do know that this is your time frame, right? Cool. Have fun.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I remember when my daughter earned her gold award. There was a couple of bumps with time frames, but other than that, I was actually surprised, and she did it all on her own. She did it her sophomore year. And I was so thankful that that was done by the time we got to junior year, because, you know, high
It's
school
busy.
just gets busier. It just gets busier.
Yep.
So,
My oldest, she's a junior this year. She wants to do it over the summer. And then my middle daughter is a freshman, and I'm like, oh, you know what? You can wait. She's like, but I finally have an idea. And she's already got a mentor. She's got her advisor. And I was like, cool. You want to go for it? Go for it. So my oldest is thinking about doing stuff with foster families, because that's what their silver award was. And she wants to just build on that. And then my middle loves plants. So hers is all about plants. And I was like, I know nothing about plants. I
that's
know
what
I
the
can't
mentor's
help you.
for.
Yes. I was like, you know what I can do? I can help you plant things when it comes to that. Picking things out, all of the, nope, not going to happen. So it'll be interesting, because they both finally found something that they've been talking about it for like a year and a half now. And they're just like, maybe, kind of. I was like, I'm not pushing you. Like, if you want to get it, cool. If you don't want to get it, like, I'm not going to push you to get it. You have to do it. So you have to find something that you want to do.
Yep.
And we have a senior who's graduating this year. And she just came to me during cookie pickup, and it was like, Miss Photina, what do I need to do for my gold award? And I was like, oh dear. Oh my. Okay. So nothing until after cookie season is over, because I don't have a gold award training until right after spring break. So after booths, go to that, and then we'll work on it. And she's like, okay, I've got an idea. I was like, you have till September. You're good.
She could go gold and at least start putting her ideas in and have
She's
her
gonna start. She's gonna start. I gave her that information, and I was like, but you can't do your hours until after your approval. Like, it's been approved. And she's like, okay. She's like, I've already researched it. I was like, those count as hours. I was like, so start entering information, but you have to go through that training first. And she's like, okay.
Yep.
So
the one thing that so my council we used it, but we did not use Go Gold until probably 3 years ago. We've basically been fully using it like last year when they did the scholarships, we had 3 or 4 girls that I had to chase to get to say to them, you have to put your stuff in Go Gold. I'll push the buttons to get it through, but you have to get it in Go Gold in order to be eligible for the scholarship application. But at this point we require, and I say require because of course there may be an exception because of a girl's abilities, right? Or access to the internet. You know, there are of course always going to be exceptions, but in general, we require Go Gold now. And it really makes life easier, because first of all, it's all consistent. Then you don't have somebody showing up with a form that's 3 versions behind. And the other thing that my committee is doing, and I just want to share this idea with you, because you mentioned that you have 10 girls in Go Gold. One of the things that, as we've been working on upgrading our gold support over the last year, is we are going to implement an intent process and assign a mentor before a girl even starts working on her proposal.
I like this idea.
So that they can help them with the language and help them walk through Go Gold, help them with the language as they're answering questions in Go Gold, guide them that way to reduce that wall that Go Gold and the proposal create. And that way, we're actually going to, once we get that implemented, we're going to transition from a proposal interview to your proposal presentation. Because if they're working with a mentor up until that point, that proposal should be good. we will have other people review it, and that's what the presentation's about, right?
Yep.
Because when a mentor starts working that closely with a girl, things do get missed, right? It's, so, as our checks and balances, we'll have other people review whatever proposal is submitted at the presentation. So that still teaches the girl about the presentation skills she needs for presenting the project. But again, we're trying to reduce that wall, because right now, the proposal is the hardest part for girls. If they can get through the proposal part, usually the project, I'm not saying that they're always successful, but the project is really not as hard as the proposal oftentimes.
Yeah. I feel like the Gold website is just hinky. It's just
so Western Washington has a PowerPoint guide for Go Gold for the girls. That's really, really good.
Okay.
So we're actually going to borrow, I've talked to Jen at Western Washington, and we're going to borrow it, and we're going to put some edits so that it's our own spin, but 90% of it will still be exactly what she created. And it's already branded with the new Girl Scout stuff. So the branding doesn't even need to be updated. But go to Western Washington's Gold site, and even if you don't do anything with it, and you just take a look at it, and if it works for you, tell the girls, that they can use that as a reference. It's the best support for Go Gold that I have found. So it's super, super good. But the other part of Go Gold, encouraging the girls, besides being ready then for the scholarship application, is, like you said, you can see the girls that have created an account. So we're going to have, at this point, what we're envisioning is 3 ways of signifying intent that you're going to go gold. And one is you're going to tell us, like, we're going to have opportunities everywhere for you just to tell us that you want to mentor. But then either council staff or other people at, council events or other events or service unit people or whatever can say this girl is interested. Or then we're also going to monitor Go Gold in a different way than we've been monitoring it. And we're going to, when they create those accounts, we're going to add them into our intent workflow. And we're still working out the kinks on what it is, but I kind of picture it almost like maybe we're going to use MailChimp and then have a series of newsletters. So like their name gets put into the workflow, and then like once a week or once every other week, they get like these little things for, 10 weeks or something, just to help support them in that process to start with. Because there are, like you said, none of your hours, obviously there's a few hours, but in general, none of your hours count until your proposal is approved. Right. We have had 2 or 3 girls this year that somewhere along the line that was not clear to them. And it's like, how could that not be clear at this point in time? I understand, like there's cross wires, there's other things. But we're really trying to avoid that, because it's no fun for anybody involved.
We just had one of those in my service unit, actually. So we got proposals, and it said that she was going to start her hours, but all that was in her proposal in Go Gold was her hours. Like nothing else was filled out. And I'm like, now, is this a glitch from Go Gold? Like, did you fill it in and it didn't save it? Because all that came across for her proposal was, these are my hours, and this is the hours that I'm going to start doing. And then we had World Thinking Day this weekend, our event this weekend. And I was talking to her troop leader, and she's like, I honestly didn't know that she was doing it. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, so she's been talking to my daughter, and her daughter has just finished hers and gotten hers completely approved. But she was talking to her daughter. She's like, oh yeah, she's almost done with her project and her hours. And she's like, no, like I haven't signed off any of the things saying that she's done these. She hasn't put in her proposal. She can't be done. And I was like, well, things are starting to make sense now. But somewhere along the lines, it got crossed that she just started working on her project, and we're like, So any of those hours don't count.
Right. It
But
breaks my heart when that happens.
yeah.
So on two of them, I can't remember what happened with the third one, but on two of them, oh wait, no, one is in process right now. On one of them, I don't think the girl ended up doing anything. And on the other one, we were able to, it wasn't, even though she had in the bulk of her hours, it wasn't a gold level project anyway. So we were able to take the work that she did and add other pieces to
Mhm.
make it that gold level project. And then those other pieces added up to the hours she
Yeah.
needed. So, we were able to pivot, but it's still, she put a lot of work into this part that she started. And
Mhm.
then for that not to count, was,
It's hard.
it's hard. It's sad.
Mhm.
That's not the purpose of, or the
Mhm.
intent of the gold program at all.
I've had a couple of girls shy away from doing their gold initially because they're like 80 hours. That's a lot. And I was like, but if you break it down, let's just break down how these hours will come out. And then as soon as you break it down, they're like, oh, that's not too bad. And I was like, it says 80 hours. And I was like, but with all of the stuff that you want to do in your project, realistically, and I'm super conservative with the hours. And I was like, you'll spend like 2 hours total emailing people. And then they end up, it's 5 hours. I was like, here's what she proposed that she was going to do. Here's what she actually did. And they're like, I was like, so be conservative and to get your 80, but then no, you're probably going to go over those hours unless all the stars align, which they never do.
Right.
You're always going to go over your hours. We haven't come across one yet where they've been under hours. Like,
no, that's rarely a thing.
Yeah.
And when it is, it's because they don't keep track of anything and they try and remember it all at the end.
Yes. And I was like, so there's this handy dandy tool right here where you just log all your hours. And they're like, oh, I was like, yes, you do something, you log it.
And now it's on your phone. So it's super easy to log.
Yes. I was like, did you send that email? Put it in.
Mhm.
Did you sit there and call people for half an hour? Put that time in there. I'm like, put it in immediately, because I'm like 80 hours. Yeah, that's 2 hours of a work. That's 2 work weeks for me. Do I remember what I did every minute of the day 2 weeks ago? Nope. I don't expect you to do that either.
No.
And that was the other thing. They're like, wait, 80 hours. That's 2 weeks worth of full-time work. They're like, that's it? Break it down. You see that number, but once you break it down and they're like, oh, we like that. I was like, yeah, just break it down that way. And it's a lot easier for them to grasp those times.
Yeah. Yeah. When girls are working on their proposals and they're having trouble with the timeline, I say, write down the 10 things that you need to do to get this project done and how many hours you think each of those will do. And then take the one, let's say one takes 10 hours, take that one and write 5, 7, 8, 9 steps underneath that and how many hours that goes. And when they break it down like that, not only is it easier for them to fill in their timeline, but that 80 hours doesn't seem as overwhelming.
Nope.
Start with the big things and just keep narrowing it down, and it makes a lot of sense. And you can get pretty dang specific too.
Yeah. And I like when you can see when it starts clicking in their head, because they look at the big picture. And then they forget that there's little steps that go up to that. And I was like, look at the big picture while you're doing it. And then look at the steps and then break it down that way. And it's just, I like seeing the realization when they're like, oh, I can do this. Just an hour. Okay, I got that. I was like, it's not even like you need 80 things on there. You just need a few and then break them down into chunks. And they're like, oh, okay, we can do this. And then you can visibly see their shoulder like this. I'm like, oh, I got this.
And it feels much more achievable then too. It's not just the, oh yeah, we can do this. And they're achievable steps.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. 80 hours. In the scheme of things, it's not a lot of time at all for what the girls do.
Nope. And I like that GSUSA is putting gold awards up on their Facebook pages when the girls get them, because then that has sparked a couple of ideas from some of the girls in our council where they're like, I like that, the base idea of it, but I want to change it and do it specifically. And I was like, that is exactly what we want to do. Or it was the 10, and now it's any gold award girl. And so you're seeing a lot more projects, and they're like, oh, so one of them wants to make an app. And so they're like, I didn't think that would be a gold award thing. And then she started looking, I think the last time they did the 10, it was 2 years ago, and she did a diabetes app. And she's like, I want to do that, but for something else. And now she's all in and programming it and developing it. And she's like, I didn't realize that could be a gold award. And now there we go.
Yep. I'm trying to think of what else we can share between our councils. Are you guys using the GSUSA Guide to Going Gold that they've released?
Tweaked.
Yeah.
We tweaked it. Yep. And we know that they're going to start working on the silver component, but right now, and we have the rubric and we send the rubric out. We've made our own PowerPoint. We require them to do the gold training before they come. And then we have one girl who did a phenomenal proposal, and we're like, this is what it should look like. Please check your punctuation and grammar before you send it to us. Please
don't answer with three-word answers.
3-word answers, or typing like they text.
Yep.
I work with college students, so I hear a lot of the slang and I'm all like, what does that mean? And then they look at me, they're like, you're so old. I was like, I get that. Now tell me what that means to my college students. So when I see some of the proposals, it's like, oh, I actually know what most of this means, but you need to change it to what it means and don't use slang.
Yep.
So we now paste in, this is what your proposal should look like. Here you go. It has helped immensely from where girls used to be to what they turn in now, giving them that example and being like, this girl got the scholarship. Here is her proposal. If you want to be eligible, this is what you should do.
Yep. Yeah, that goes along the lines. We want a sample one too. We don't want to use a sample where it's obvious what the girl's project was, because we don't want it to be like, here's the star student thing, right? So we're working on taking pieces. We have a couple of them that came in that were really, really good proposals. We're taking pieces to combine them and not be any one of their single projects too. You know what I mean? It's going to be cohesive, so it reads through as if it was a single project, but and that's a little bit harder than to just take a proposal, which I'd like to do, but then you have the other girls that are like, well, why wasn't my proposal the one that you're using as an example too?
So we asked her, I think they asked her, I'm pretty sure they asked her, because we have like the proposals in the past haven't been up there. Even the final had very bad grammar and punctuation. And I'm like, so we don't say, like, we don't have the name of the person, but you can see the step-by-step of like what it was, because we need some new proposals that are, so we can pick and choose between. I think so. Last year we had 3 girls get it. The year before we only had 1. And the year before that, I think we had 2. So it's been, this year we have a lot that if they finish it right now, we have only have 1 who's been 2 who have been fully approved, but we have a whole bunch more that are like, oh, it's my senior year, I need to finish this. So we have the potential to have a lot more, and the most that we've had in a very long time, but we haven't had a lot of proposals to choose from in our examples.
Yep.
Go gold is, it is hanky. Like my daughter tries to get on to enter her information and it'll kick her out. And I'm just like, just keep going. And then finally I was like, we're just going to copy and paste. And so we have all the questions in a Word document. And I was like, when you're done, we'll just go in and answer all of the questions. And here you go. Then you
Well,
can just
and what,
copy and paste it in there.
and besides having a backup copy, by doing it in Word, your spelling and grammar is checked better than Go Gold too.
Yes. And Google does not like Grammarly at all.
Oh,
It's like, if you have it, turn it off. And so many people use Grammarly now. I have professors that they just put papers through Grammarly and that's how they check them. And I'm an English major and I was like, but some of that stuff in Grammarly is not right. So it drives me nuts. But having a double check, and I was like, just check it in the document and then paste it over there. And it'll be much less frustrating for you. So that's one thing we started telling our girls in the presentations is, here are all of the questions you're going to have to answer that you have to write out, fill this out, and then put it over there. And then they don't have to keep logging in, going back and forth, finding out where they saved it. And I don't know what it is about Gold where we're just going to shut down. You're not going to go to the next page. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes you work and sometimes you don't. It's kind of frustrating.
Well, and the same thing with the timeline, but you can do that in Excel and then you can resort things differently too.
Yep. Because then if you're like, oh, if this step here makes more sense to be up here, it's easier to just move it up there and have it go down.
I mean, I know that there's tables in Word, but I hate tables in Word.
Tables in Word are a lot harder to move information around than it is over in Excel.
Yep.
You can always copy and paste it when you've got it done over there anyway.
Yep. So what else would you like to chat about?
I don't know. I was hoping some girls would be on here so that we could chat about their projects and what they're planning on doing. What are some of the projects that you guys have that are in the works or that have been done before?
So we've had a high level of food pantry garden in different formations, but food pantry garden projects. So when I see one of those come across, I just take a big deep breath now. We have one of our girls is doing fitness trail, a virtual fitness trail with QR codes. And so what she's doing is she's setting up the different stations so that you could look it up on your phone. Okay. And then she's partnering with a park so that the signs with the QR codes just get posted. But the concept is that any park could then take those QR codes and post them and make their own fitness trail.
That's cool. I like that.
What other projects? Because I've been working on trying to get all of this other gold stuff, I don't work on the projects as much as I used to.
Let's see, we've had one. So we have a fish species, the bull trout that is to Idaho that is going extinct. And so we had one girl do an entire education program that has been integrated into our parks and rec across the state of Idaho. She made a whole curriculum about saving the Idaho bull trout. She wrote the curriculum. She did a marketing campaign, and then the state of Idaho Park and Recs was like, we will keep this curriculum going for at least the next 5 years. And she did a whole bunch of research on how it's been declining and then how we can get it to go back up. And so they're going to keep doing the statistics for it to see if we can get the population of the bull trout back up.
And she made very cool.
All of the stats for it, the education curriculum for it. She just handed it over and said, all you have to do is implement this. And they're like, we can do that. We had one girl, we have a ski hill here, and there used to be signs about the native plants as you went down through the trails. And
Mhm.
she redid all of the signs, put QR codes on them, and then those QR codes take you to what that plant species is, and so that you can learn about it and then do an activity. It's geared towards kids, and she's got a pamphlet that is at the ski hill that it's like, as you're going down the hill, the little kid hills or the trails, look out for these, and they're all numbered. So she made the signs by hand, and then they went and they put them all up, and then she made the pamphlet, and then she did the website for all of the plants. We have one girl who's working on hers now for she's doing something with bees. She just submitted her proposal for it. We've had a couple of 18-wheelers tip over
Oh.
that were transporting beehives.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then the bees obviously got out, but I mean, they were like tractor trailer size transporting beehives. And two of them in the last 18 months that they were going around the corner, and they, in almost the same spot, they tipped. And so the bees either died or they left. And so we have a bee farm. And so she's doing bee awareness of some kind, and how you can do it. And then she's partnering with somebody to keep up the program. And they're going to keep presenting at farmers markets and around the high schools and the elementary schools. Plants that are good to keep in your house, like in your flower beds and stuff like that. And then sprays that you don't want to spray.
Mhm.
So because you're going to kill them. We have another one that's doing what's called Heart of Art Club through the library, where they're going to bring in local artists for 15 weeks. And these local artists have agreed to do it for the next few years, to come in and do an art club each semester for underprivileged kids in the area. And she's gotten a local store to donate supplies for it. She's written up lesson curriculums for it and all of that. Let's see. Can't think of any of the other ones that we've had recently.
Yeah, I just looked at our list. And so we have some outdoor classrooms and some park revampments, in different ways. We have one, and they were completely separate gold projects, but it was a troop of 4 girls, and they all did it at the same park. So it's a baseball park, and but they did 4 different projects. So one revamped the batting cages, another revamped the storage unit, and these obviously not the whole project. I'm just giving you that. We all know how you cannot explain a gold award project in 2 sentences. It really never tells the whole story. The other one revamped the entrance, and I don't remember what the 4th one was. What was the 4th one? I don't remember, but I love it because, the girls, even at high school, if they've been a really close troop, still want to work together.
Yeah.
And this was a way. So we had this group of 4 girls, it's a way that they can all still have related projects, but they were all definitely standalone.
Yep.
No, they don't, except for the fact that they were at the same place, they don't overlap with each other. But it worked out really well because I don't know if it's park district manager or the baseball manager, there was some guy involved in all 4 projects, and it really made it all come together. And then the girls are working together, and so then they're having more fun, and it gets back to that. This isn't supposed to be a drag. It's supposed to be fun too.
Yeah.
So and we had that at a church a couple of years ago. We had 2 or 3 girls that did their projects for the same church. And one did, I think one did a cemetery cleanup, like, the headstone thing.
Yep.
And then another did a meditation garden with a labyrinth.
I like that.
I don't remember what the other one was, but yeah. So, I mean, I like it because it shows, how you can work together and still have completely standalone projects.
I like that example. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I don't know if I have any other questions.
Well, you know how to get
Oh,
a hold of me.
I do. I got you on, I think, all of them, Facebook, Instagram. And it was funny because your message came through from Facebook to my Instagram. And it's like, do you want to accept it from the Facebook account? And I was like, yes. I love how they like integrated, just crossover. And I was like, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, it was great chatting with you. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
And I am going to work on, so for these, I actually had a conversation with council in the last week or two, because we're transitioning even more, where what's happening now is we don't even have somebody to pull the rosters and send out the emails with the Zoom links. Like, I'm doing that part too, except that again, I'm not in Salesforce, so I can't actually pull the roster or whatever system the events are in, right? Yeah. And so I have to remember to email the person in the morning and say, send me my roster, and then make sure I turn around with enough time for them to get the link, right? So it's working fine. But I had a conversation, and so we're actually going to even pull the registration for these away from council. And so that's going to happen over the next couple of months, which will give even more flexibility, remove some of that registration problems that we had. Yep. Like you experienced, remove some of those. And then I'm really hoping to also transition to do them live stream. And then just as people see that we're live streaming on social, be able to join in. So be watching for that over the next couple of months. It probably won't happen until the beginning of summer, but that's one of the behind the scenes things that I'm going to work on with the Chit Chats.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And I love sharing like what other councils are doing with older girl stuff or what they're doing in general. I know it's cookie season in 3/4 to 90% of the country, and that has taken over all of the Facebook groups right now. But it's nice to see like what other councils, so I can like send my girls, go talk over here. Hey, you want to earn this badge, but nobody else in our troop does. Go do this event over here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I just had a girl join my virtual troop, and because her troop had gone away and she really wanted the troop experience. But my virtual troop is not really big on badge work or journey work. And so, yeah, so I did the same thing with her. As I said, yeah, we can give you the social aspect, but if this is the part that you want, here's some groups to go do that part with.
We have a lot in the virtual Girl Scout activities one. So I'm an admin for that Facebook group. We have a lot of events that go on that other councils or just other troop leaders are like, hey, we're doing this virtually. And so I've had some of my girls just hand their stuff in and it's like, this is the badge that I did. And here's the thing. And I was like, cool. Check you off on your badge tracker.
Yep. That's definitely a positive that's come out of the pandemic, is that there's more of that. There was some before, but it's become, I think it's become easier as people have had to use the technology and gotten used to it.
Yep.
So, and it's fun to talk to other girls from other places.
It's fun to connect with other councils. And I mean, we met at at the virtual convention. And we've met a whole bunch of people at that convention that I'm sure we both still talk to. And that's just how people have met each other. I mean, I'm looking forward to the in-person convention again. But virtually, my girls have met a lot of other Girl Scouts that they're talking to, like other older girls, because there's not that many in our community. And they're like, but now we have all of these people that we can talk to that they're from all of the parts of the country that are their age. They're like, look, there are a lot of Girl Scouts.
Yep, there are. All right. Well, it was great talking to you.
You too.
All right. I'm sure we'll be talking on social.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.